You are now listening to Shotgun Sports USA. I'm your host, Justin Barker, and I talk to shotgun shooters from all disciplines, championship-winning coaches, gun clubs, world-class target setters, vendors, and industry-leading companies that fuel the sport. If you're into clay target sports, you are at the right place for insider information from some of the best in the world every single week. Check us out online at shotgunsportsusa.com and like us on Facebook and Instagram. Shotgun Sports USA is powered by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Also brought to you by Ultimate Shooting Accessories, Rick Hemingway's Promatic Trap Sales, Sound Gear Phantom, Comp and Choke, Clay Shooter Supply, and Pila Performance Eyewear. On this episode, I caught up with Fred Fanizzi, and we talked about the final stages of the long-awaited Gator Cup that's just around the corner in March. I think we cover everything you may need to know about the tournament, and we look forward to seeing you there. All right, got Fred with me. And Fred, you know I like the Gator Cup, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I want to do a quick episode and talk about how it's coming along, what you've been doing or the guys at Cherokee Rose have been doing to improve the place and get it ready for the shoot, and just kind of touch base on what's going on. What's new?
Well, I actually really appreciate you asking the question, Justin. Again, thanks for having me on the podcast with you. I always enjoy the time together. We are excited. You know, we announced this shoot in the middle of the summertime and immediately went to work. And we have had a lot of meetings up there with Double D and Gene, Ed, and the whole crew up there to make things good. And we've got a great shoot ready coming up here in just a few weeks. As a lot of folks know, Cherokee Rose has been in existence for a long time, since the middle 80s. And when Double D got a hold of that club, he started to do some great things. And then when we asked him to do the Gator Cup there, we realized we had a lot of work to do. So coursework-wise, we've had some great meetings with Rick Hemingway, who's going to be on site with us, not only just bringing traps, but also setting targets with his crew. And we discussed, widening of some of the course paths. We discussed cutting out new areas to make new stations. We did have a complete revival of the FETASC area that hadn't been shot in 10 years, and the folks that joined us for the Fraser 500 enjoyed that. Target set by Joe Canning, which they'll be set by Joe again during the Gator Cup.
Right.
And we've also up there opened up 8 new stations for our sub-gauge and our super sporting. So we're excited about that. Got millings down on the path, and it's all looking good to be able to accommodate everybody. So a lot has happened in coursework to accept a crowd the size of the Gator Cup.
The FETASC is in the back part of the property. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a practice course, I'm assuming, towards the front. Is that still the way that's going to be?
That's exactly right. A good question, because I want the folks to know. So everybody knows Make or Break Ed. Ed Breckle will be there throwing his Make or Break. He's going to have that set up basically on Monday before the opener of the Gator Cup. So on Tuesday morning, we'll be ready for practice. To have people ready for the course. He'll throw some big birds on Make a Break right next to the Make a Break, right in and around the whole food court section and where the clubhouse is, straight away from where the old Star Shot was. If you're familiar with Cherokee Rose, kind of an amphitheater situation there, we'll have a 5-stand warm-up. And then over to the south side of the clubhouse, right at the beginning of where the Rose course is, we'll have about 6 or 7 stations of practice set up there. So there'll be adequate places. Also, the Creek course will be open and available for practice shooting before the prelims, I believe, all day on Wednesday. So they'll have a full course right there to get you some warm-up.
That place, that Creek course, has really turned into a stunning course.
It
unbelievable.
There's a lot of terrain there. There's a lot of trees there. There's a lot of rolling Georgia beauty.
Yep.
And it's a course that if you haven't been to, you'll be pleased with the aesthetics. There's great cart paths, and you're going to be shooting targets under your feet. You'll be shooting targets over your head. There'll be some quick window stuff. It's not as open and spacious as some of the courses that we're used to looking at that throw the big FTAS type targets. But just speaking about the courses in and of themselves and leading into target setters, you mind me touching on that?
No, go ahead.
We're really excited about our whole slate of target setters. For one, Cody Matson is the director of sporting clays, and I've gotten to know Cody pretty good since we started this venture. And if people don't know Cody, he's been there now for a few years. He's studied under some of the best target setters in the country, like Chuck Frazier. He's worked in the Midwest at some big clubs. He's an all-around guy that can work on machines, and just he's a great instructor. And, of course, near and dear to my heart is he's a bow hunter, so that just says something about his character. But he's going to be working along with Mike Luongo and working under Mike on the Rose course for the main. He's going to also be working on the prelims on the Rose course with Mike. Everybody knows Mike. He was, along with me at Quail Creek for a while and set some great targets for previous Gator Cups. Now he's doing a stellar job over at Rocky Creek in South Carolina. And not only is he going to bring his expertise in target setting, but he's just got the crowd ginned up. He's been doing a great job over there, so we got a big contingency from South Carolina, including a lot of the kids, which is important to us. Mike will also be working with Cody and Brian Quigley, who we well know as Quig, setting 5-stand on the creek course, which is a little tighter course, the one you're talking about, that has the targets over the water and in the trees and such. That's where Rick Hemingway is going to work his magic. And he'll work along there with John Snowden and Eric Dorsey, and they're going to have a great set of birds there for us, which that creek course will throw a Friday prelim, and it'll also throw a main event.
Okay.
So then, of course, over on the FTAS, our friend Joe Canny is going to handle all that, and I don't think Joe now needs any kind of introduction. If people know who he is, he's a legend in our game. We're glad to get him. It's his kind of terrain that he's used to from Hermitage Farm. He's been there already in November and knows exactly what he's going to be ready for in March. And he's going to set all 4 FTAS layouts and the 2 sub-gauge FTAS layouts. And then we're also going to have the guys from LaPorte, Corey Howell and Big Lou, and they're going to be over there on sub-gauge, and I'll help them along with that as well.
Right. So for the people listening, it's going to be the regular Gator Cup, if not better, because we're going to be closer together. We can all see each other.
Well,
you don't have to.
I appreciate you saying that. You're right. When you pull in there, you're going to see similarities.
Right.
I mean, it's at a different venue, right?
Right.
But our buddy Frog Jackson, it can't be a Gator Cup without Frog when you come in the gate, and he'll be there helping you get organized. If you haven't been to the Gator Cup, you'll like him, and I'm also going to warn you, try not to step out of line, because he's a nice guy until he isn't. And he's head of our protest committee, too, and when you see him, you realize why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it seems like when somebody has a protest, and they say, well, let's go talk to Frog, and they say, I don't have a protest anymore.
It goes away.
It somehow goes away, but no. So when you pull in there, you'll see, lots of familiar faces all the way to the registration. Casey's going to be there with Lois and Becky. Maria and Debbie Hollinsworth are going to be in the clubhouse. It's going to be a homecoming.
Yep, that's
Some
right.
Folks that we love and that we miss and we can't wait to see, and just show them the same kind of fun, hospitality, entertainment as we always have.
That's right. And that's important, to make sure that everyone's taken care of. And I know that's what you do. That's what everybody does at the Gator Cup.
Well, I always say this, if they've got a choice to go to one, shoot, I want them to come to that one.
That's right.
When they leave there, I want to know they had fun.
Yep.
They might not have won it. They might not have taken any prize money or one of those 30 guns home with them, but they say, I'll be looking forward to next year.
All right. Before we get into the guns you're going to give away,
sure.
The ammunition's still an issue, but you have...
Yes, ammunition is an issue for any club anywhere in the country, and we are really proud to let the folks know that we have picked up 3 great sponsors this year, and they're very important to the success. One is Winchester Ammunition, who stepped up and provided us with ammunition available for the shoot, including sub-gauge ammo. Remington has stepped up to the plate. They are not only providing ammunition to us, but they're also sponsoring an event. And then also Federal. Those guys are, Federal and Remington are sponsoring Friday prelims, and we appreciate that out of them. And Winchester is right there with them. So we're going to have it available. Now, like anywhere else in the country, they can't come and buy 10 flats to be ready for dove season this year.
Yeah.
There's going to be a limit on it, but they're going to have enough ammo adequate for what they're going to shoot at the Gator Cup, and then be able to warm up and have some spares for, no birds and such like that.
Yeah. All right, you brought up just a second ago the 30 guns.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how that goes. How can you win a gun?
Well, absolutely, no worries. First way to win a gun is to sign up for an event, because those guns are spread out across all the events we have going at the Gator Cup. Now, our title main event sponsor, which is Beretta and Cole, a big shout out to Brian Buzzy with Beretta, who's going to be there again with us. A big shout out to I can't say enough about the friendship we have with the folks from Cole Gunsmithing. Rich and John Cole, people can say family and use the word lightly, but they are.
Right.
They are just the best salt of the earth people supporting us. When I told them that we were thinking about moving this shoot and said, I know it's a long way from you, do you want in? There was no hesitation. They said, we're going to go where you go. And we appreciate that.
Right.
So as partnering with Beretta, we're going to again offer that really nice DT11 12 gauge. It's going to have, a fine grain wood that I don't need to say too much about Cole Gunsmithing. People know what Rich can do with a good piece of wood. It'll be fitted to the person who wins that. That is going to go to a main event entry. So right now I believe we're at 540 in the main event. You could come in last in E place, but if you're there on Saturday night enjoying a great piece of smoked prime rib.
Oh, you're having prime rib this year?
Believe it or not. Isn't that something new? No.
That's amazing.
No. Again, just like Frog Jackson, it wouldn't be a Gator Cup without prime rib. The Georgia boys would be there to serve that with all the trimmings. But, yes, so that is what we do at the end of the night. Now, one thing that maybe the crowd will be pleased about is that we're going to pull back. All the awards will be the same, but I'm not going to stand there and hand out 3 or 5 deep in every event. We'll probably mention the HOA and runner-up winners for the sub-gauge events, because we give those awards away on Friday night. We'll mention the HOA and probably first-in-class event winners for all 3 prelims. Shoot-offs will be Friday night before that also, so that we be ready for Saturday night. But you're going to see a lot of the same stuff with some new twists. It is the week of St. Patty's Day, okay. And so we got a little something special entertainment-wise that the Irish folks are going to appreciate, and the non-Irish will too, on Saturday night. So I can't divulge that now, but you be there for the banquet on Saturday night and you'll see.
All right, that sounds fun to me.
The other guns.
Yeah.
Basically, the largest attended event is going to be the main event, so we would, out of 30 guns, probably have 6 or 7 guns in that event. Then we trickle down from there to the fee task, where we might have 5. And go all the way down to where we'll have 1 or 2 in the 410 event. So it's all based, Justin, on what event you enter, and then if you're at the banquet. Because if you're not there and we call your name,
somebody else is winning.
Somebody else is going to win it.
Yep. Same with a big gun, the DT11.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So golf carts.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure people need to make sure they have the
absolutely.
golf carts.
I appreciate you asking about that. That was a little something on our list. The golf cart link is available on Score Chaser and is also available on our website, thegatorcup.com. Go there, just want to make sure people remember to do that. You'd think it goes without saying, but it's just a reminder. The golf cart links are there. Be looking for your hotel rooms if you hadn't. I'm sure a lot of people have already taken care of that, but it after we scheduled the Gator Cup, the Atlanta Motor Speedway put their big race on the same weekend.
Really?
They had to move that. So some of those rooms are a little harder to get, but they are available. Digging around and you'll find what you're looking for. You might be over in McDonough. You could be in Griffin. But
they're all fairly close.
Absolutely. None of them are more than 20 minutes away.
Right. And you can go on thegatorcup.com also and see a list of hotels.
There is a list. And I did mention Beretta and Cole and our friends there. We appreciate what the folks from Winchester, Remington, and Federal are doing, but I'm just quickly going to mention some other folks who are very integral that I cannot go without saying. Kohler Arms, John Romagli. This is basically the 8th year in a row that he stepped up and wanted to be involved in fee tasks. So we thank all the folks at Kohler Arms, Elite Shotgun, Dan, and Murray, and all they've done, which, by the way, they just completed a wonderful shoot over there at the Caribbean in Vero Beach, which was well attended. Krieghoff is going to be with us this year. Rocky Creek Sporting Clays. We mentioned Mike Luongo. We have a fella actually sitting with us at the table listening to all this named Jeremy Smith from Lowe Toyota.
That's
and
right.
We can't say enough about Lowe being a new sponsor this year. Jeremy's taken up sporting clays and loves the outdoors. And, you called me and said, hey, Lowe Toyota wants to be involved. What can they do? And I said, I'd really like somebody to support our Saturday night banquet. And they stepped right up and said, what else is available? Well, you told me Jeremy liked Make or Break, so they gathered up on 2 events there. So if you're needing a vehicle, see those folks at Lowe Toyota. They'll take care of you. White Flyers back again. PMS Gun Sales and ESP, Mike and Granny Sherman are great buddies. And here's another new sponsor that we're really glad to welcome and can't wait to have them there and tell them how much we appreciate them. And they've actually become good friends because we see them out on the shooting trail, and that is the folks from Daniel Defense.
Yep.
Daniel Defense. We really appreciate Marty and Cindy Daniel. They have a great young up-and-coming son, Connor, who's not only going to be a great shot, but he is already. So, Krieghoff is a new sponsor for us this year. Rocky Creek, Remington, and Federal are new sponsors. Winchester is. Lowe Toyota is. Daniel Defense. Just a lot of folks stepping up to the plate to help us make this a success. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention them. So we appreciate them a lot.
As far as vendors, you'll have just a line of vendors, I'm sure, like
we've
you always
still
do.
got a really big host of vendors coming. You're going to see a lot of the old. You'll see some of the new. The SGS is going to be there, Travel Camp, Blue Belts, who's been there in the past, our friends from Pure Gold, Sound Gear, Jim White, DuPont Krieghoff, Willie Clinics, Bear Pelt, Jim Greenwood. These are just a few,
right? But
they're all planning on being there, seeing the crowd.
And Jim Greenwood being there is a big deal because he don't just come around all the time.
He doesn't. And this is it's funny you say that, Justin, because this is what we're seeing in this year's Gator Cup since we have moved to Georgia. Is that mid-February in Florida is a flow. It's a time to be down here for good weather and shoots that are all, back to back. And it draws a lot of folks from out of the country. I think in the past at Gator Cups, we've had 18, 20 different countries there, 50 Jamaicans, all the Brits. Yeah. You'll see a little less of that this year. But what we're seeing so much more of is the people that say, I've always heard about your shoot, but I'm so far away I couldn't come. Now they're coming in from neighboring states. The South Carolina contingency is huge. Georgia in and of itself, brother, you guys got a lot of people that shoot there.
Yeah.
Alabama, too. Kentucky. There are a lot of people that are coming to the Gator Cup, and we had to cap it. We knew that from the very beginning. We just couldn't bail off and run it up over 600 in the main, which Lois told us we could have done 2 months ago. We said we wanted to do 500. When we blinked our eyes, she messed around and had us up to 550, and now we're somewhere around 540. But we'll see how this one goes. Then after that, we'll run those numbers up. But we're sold out, been sold out, and I don't know. I'm excited. I think a lot of people are excited.
Yeah, and for the people that can't or aren't registered, get on the waiting list. I mean,
that's right.
You never know if somebody can't make it, and
that's right.
You can move up in that spot. I promise you, it'll be worth coming. Something different that I think you're doing this year on Make or Break is Calcutta.
Absolutely. So this has been going on at clubs in the country. It's not brand new, but we've got Ed Preckle going to be there. Now, Ed is the ultimate showman when it comes to the Make or Break and getting that competition going. We've had Make or Breaks in the past, but we didn't want it to cut into our Saturday night, but we think we've got a nice window of opportunity. We'll probably cut back on a number of people that are going to be in the final round, but just before that happens, after the 2:30 rotation, we're going to have a Make or Break Calcutta. We'll take, I believe it's going to be the top 8 or 10 shooters, and yours truly is going to auction those guys off. And we're going to do our very best to get a whole bunch of money in there in that pot, not only for the shooters if they win it, but also for the people that buy those individuals. And if you've never been to something like that or involved in a Calcutta, whether it's for a fishing tournament or, so many of them that have happened in Make or Break, it's a lot of fun. It takes a very short period of time to auction those guys off. And I've seen some of our people pay some really big money for some of the hot shots that are great Make or Break shooters. And it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And that'll take place Saturday night, just before we start all the hors d'oeuvres and the drinks and such. Or it could be a little bit overlapped. It's all about having fun. You might have a drink in your hand watching a Make or Break shoot off, and hopefully the guy that you paid $10,000 for wins it.
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds good to me.
And don't forget, our sponsor of that is Low Toyota.
That's right. Low Toyota.
You betcha.
You got all these people that everybody's worried about trappers all over the place, whether it's this shoot, that shoot. What are you doing about your trappers with?
Well, that's a really good question. I would say as a former range manager, owner, and such, and one that's just conversed with folks all across the country, and I think even the shooters are knowing that finding really good help to be out on a course is a tough thing. We ran into that when we announced the Gator Cup in Georgia, but luckily we have a great solution, and her name is Julia Gilman. And a lot of people may know of Julia, or her dad, Jim Gilman, who's a several-time Team USA shooter. Julia started a company a few years back that arose out of this need and this situation where, a lot of controversy was arising over trappers that were a little less attentive or just green and being able to be browbeat a little bit. And you had a great podcast on regarding cheating in the sport. Not saying there's going to be any of that, but you have to have an experienced trapper with some know-how. Julia scours the country for whatever region you're going to have a shoot. If you're going to have a shoot in the Midwest, in the Chicago area, she'll be around there procuring trappers, scorekeepers, referees for you. Like where we are in Georgia, she's working with different groups such as the Fallen Outdoors, I believe is what they call it, who is a veterans group.
Right.
And what she does is she basically announces that she needs 25, 35, 45 trappers. It starts to get people on a list. And then not only does she have them on shoot day, but she trains them and she certifies them, which they've already had a training session at Cherokee Rose. So she brings in a number of these people and shows them how the station operates if they've never done it before. And then if you've just done it a few times, she might bring you back in and recertifies you. But when she signs off on them, they're good to go and they're good for your tournament. So today, you have to bring in nearly 50 people to stand on station for an event like that and have a few extras. And then, with the whole scamdemic, we have a situation where people might not be able to make it,
Right.
So in her case, she's done a great job. We reached out to her in the last 1 or 2 days, and I think she's now maybe somewhere around 10 or 12 short for the whole event.
Good.
And we've got about 30 days to go. So we're excited about what she's doing for us. We're excited about the staff we're going to have there, and that is a box that has been checked.
Tell me about the food you're going to have, and tell me about your staff.
Well, I appreciate it. This staff is a lot of people that you will have recognized from the past. They get the Gator Cup. They get what it is we're trying to do. They understand that people have options where they go and how they spend their money. And when you come through the gate, we want you to feel like you're home. We want you to feel welcome. We want you to feel like we're going to greet you and call you by name if at all possible. It's if the staff doesn't look like they're having fun, then I think that your guests are not going to have fun. I've often said it. We don't have employees or customers. We have a team. We have coworkers, and we have guests. And that's the tone we're trying to set, whether you've been to the Gator Cup before or not. If you've been there before, we got a lot of work to do to uphold the tradition. If you haven't been there before, I want you to leave and say, now I know what people talk about.
Right.
The food, we've got a wonderful gentleman, an energetic, great chef, Aaron Castellanos, has a company called The Grand Gourmet. He's going to be in there from start to finish, handling a lot of things, everything from our big vendor party on Thursday night, which we started years ago at our first Gator Cup, which has been well received by people who sponsor and come to the event. It's a give back to them.
And I'm going to tell you something. If you get to go to that, they've got some what's that cake called?
Is it blueberry bread pudding?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's something about that you really like when you snuck in there and crashed that thing a few years back. You and DeMichael, by gosh.
Yeah. There's pictures floating around somewhere.
Yeah. Well, no, it's it's an opportunity to actually. It's not for all the shooters. It's not for everybody that's out to shoot. It's for those people. It's for the linemen of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The shooters are the quarterbacks. They get the glory. But on that Thursday night, it's about having the folks in to say, you know what? Without your support, we probably wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you. And this is something to give back. And I know that when we started that at the first Gator Cup in 2015, we had people coming there saying they've never seen it anywhere, and they appreciated it. And it's a good idea, and we think it's the right thing to do. And anyways, that'll happen on Thursday night, and then of course, We will have a few extra food trucks around there to offer you some variety. But Aaron's going to have a great twist on things. Is he going to have a burger available? Absolutely. You got to have that available. But he's got things like a Cuban bowl. Bowls are getting popular. He'll have some salad entrees and things to where everybody will find what they're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we've covered everything for now.
So.
The Gator Cup what's the date? Tell me the date again.
So it kicks off on Tuesday, March the 15th, and it goes to Sunday at dark, March the 20th.
So
Griffin, Georgia.
And that's not far away at all.
That's not too far. Blinking, it'll be here.
That's right.
We're looking forward to seeing everybody. Reach out to us. Call the club. You could reach out through
get on the
Facebook,
website,
get on the website,
email.
Whatever it takes. If you've got a question, a concern, or a worry, we're going to get you covered.
That's it. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate your time.
Justin, nobody appreciates you as much as I do. Thanks for all you do for the sport. Thanks for all you do for the Gator Cup.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
See you.